The quantum analysis lab at MIT was supposed to be dark at 3 a.m., but Dr. Amanda Hayes hadn't left the building in 36 hours. Her reflection in the glass wall, illuminated by holographic displays, showed dark circles under her eyes and coffee-stained lips. She didn't care. The data streaming across her screens was worth every sleepless minute. Running simulation variant 47B, she muttered into her recorder, comparing quantum signature patterns from the Phyrexian transport against grandfather's theoretical models. Above her desk, a three-dimensional representation of the Phyrexian ship's engine core rotated slowly, its crystalline structure catching the blue light from her displays. Beautiful, elegant, and completely impossible according to every physics textbook on Earth. At least that's what everyone believed until 3 months ago. The Phyrexians had arrived on a Tuesday morning, their massive ships casting diamond-shaped shadows over Earth's major cities. No warnings, no threatening displays, just a polite request to discuss mutually beneficial trade opportunities. Within weeks, they'd established shipping routes, rented out their vessels for human cargo transport, and generally acted like the galaxy's most sophisticated rental car company. Amanda minimized another failed simulation and rubbed her temples. Something wasn't adding up. The Phyrexians treated their ships like sacred artifacts, performing maintenance rituals that seemed more religious than technical. But their explanations about how the technology worked were frustratingly vague, full of mystical references to quantum harmonies and stellar resonances. Display comparison. Hayes Archive, File 2034-7, she commanded. A new hologram appeared, her grandfather's final research papers before his work was mysteriously abandoned. The equations scrolled past, and Amanda's heart rate quickened. She'd seen these patterns before. Computer, overlay quantum signature from Phyrexian ship Delta 7 with Hayes Archive theoretical predictions. The holograms merged, numbers aligning with impossible precision. Amanda's coffee mug slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor. She barely noticed. "Holy shit," she whispered. "Grandpa, you crazy old bastard. You actually figured it out." A sharp knock at the lab door made her jump. Dr. Thompson, her department head, stood in the doorway with a concerned expression. "Amanda, security said you've been here since yesterday morning. Mark, you need to see this." She gestured him over, hands shaking with excitement and caffeine. "Look at these signatures. The resonance patterns, the quantum field fluctuations. They're identical." Identical to what? To my grandfather's theoretical work from 2034. The work everyone said was impossible. The work he abandoned right after getting visits from government representatives. She pulled up more comparisons. The Phyrexians didn't invent this technology. They discovered it, just like we were about to. Someone must have known they were coming and shut down our research. Mark's face paled as he studied the data. "Amanda, if you're right about this." "I'm right." She pulled up another simulation, and that's not all. "Look at these efficiency ratings. The Phyrexians are using maybe 60% of the system's potential. Their sacred maintenance rituals. Their cargo cult science. They're copying procedures they don't fully understand. You can't possibly know that." Amanda grinned, running on fumes and revelation. "Actually, I can. Because my grandfather's notes show exactly how the system works at a fundamental level. The Phyrexians treat these ships like holy relics, but we can build them. Better ones." "Amanda, listen to yourself. You're talking about reverse engineering alien technology. The trade agreements specifically forbid." "They forbid copying their designs," Amanda interrupted. "This isn't copying. This is parallel development of technology we already theoretically understood. They just got there first. Barely." Mark ran a hand through his gray hair. "The board will never approve this research." "Then we don't tell them." Amanda's eyes gleamed with the kind of fever that had driven humans to cross oceans, split atoms, and reach for the stars. "I've got a team of grad students who can keep their mouths shut, and I've got my grandfather's complete archives. Give me 6 months. I'll prove it." She turned back to her displays, mind racing with possibilities. Behind her, Mark sighed heavily. 6 months, he said finally. And if this blows up in our faces, I never knew about it. Amanda barely heard him. On her screens, the future was taking shape, one quantum signature at a time. Jake, if you spill that coffee on my quantum analyzer, I will personally ensure you spend the rest of your PhD cleaning test tubes. Amanda didn't even look up from her tablet as her graduate student juggled his breakfast dangerously close to millions in equipment. Sorry, Dr. Hayes, Jake mumbled, setting the cup down on what he thought was a safe distance from the edge of the maintenance platform. They were inside Hangar 7, officially conducting routine diagnostic analysis on a Vrixian transport vessel. Unofficially, they were about to cross several interstellar laws. Initiating scan sequence Delta, their systems specialist, Maria, called from below. The Vrixian maintenance crew returns in 40 minutes. Amanda nodded, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. 6 months of secret research had led to this moment. They'd replicated every aspect of her grandfather's work, but something was still missing. The quantum signatures weren't quite aligning in their prototypes. Dr. Hayes, Jake's panicked voice cut through her concentration. There was the coffee. Amanda spun around just in time to see Jake's coffee cup tumble onto the ship's primary control interface. But instead of shorting out the alien technology, something extraordinary happened. The liquid seeped between the crystalline panels and created a cascading pattern of light. Nobody move, Amanda breathed, her scientific mind shifting into overdrive. The coffee had created an unexpected conductivity bridge between components that were never meant to touch. And there, hovering above the panel, was something impossible, a full holographic blueprint of the quantum drive's core architecture. Maria, are you seeing this? Amanda called down. Tell me you're recording. Every quantum fluctuation, Dr. Hayes. But this shouldn't be possible. The Vrixians said their systems were organic crystalline matrices that couldn't be mapped. Amanda laughed, a sound of pure joy and vindication. They didn't say couldn't, Maria. They said shouldn't. There's a difference. She studied the hovering schematics with growing excitement. Jake, your clumsiness just made history. Look at these configurations. The hologram showed more than just the drive structure. It revealed the quantum pathways themselves, the very flows of energy that her grandfather had theorized. But there was something else, something that made Amanda's heart race. They built it wrong, she whispered. All this time, they've been using it wrong. Jake, trying to redeem himself, peered at the display. What do you mean wrong? Their ships are the fastest in known space. But they could be faster. Look here. Amanda pointed to a particular junction in the quantum matrix. They're routing power through secondary containment fields because they think it's safer. But if you follow the natural quantum resonance, she quickly sketched a modification in the air, her fingers leaving glowing trails in the holographic display. That would increase efficiency by at least 40%, Maria finished, her voice filled with awe. But Dr. Hayes, if we modify the designs this way. We're not modifying their designs, Amanda corrected, already downloading the blueprints to her secure server. We're building something new, based on first principles that humanity discovered independently. The fact that it looks similar is coincidental. A sharp clang from outside made them all jump. The Vrixian maintenance crew was arriving early. Pack it up, Amanda ordered, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. Maria, encrypt that data. Jake, she looked at the coffee mess. Clean that up and pray they don't look too closely at the control panel. As they scrambled to restore the ship to its original state, Amanda's mind was already racing ahead. They had everything they needed now. The blueprint wouldn't just help them replicate Vrixian technology. It would help them perfect it. Hours later, in the secure lab beneath MIT's quantum research facility, Amanda stared at the first successful test of their prototype quantum core. It was smaller than the Vrixian version, more efficient, and undeniably human in its construction. The possibilities made her dizzy. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Dr. Hayes, this is Thomas Wright, CEO of Apex Industries. We need to talk about your recent breakthrough. Immediately. Amanda looked at her team, then back at the glowing quantum core. There would be no turning back now. Send him in, she replied. The black SUVs arrived at MIT at midnight, their electric motors whisper quiet. Thomas Wright didn't believe in subtlety. When you're worth $300 billion, you make an entrance. The Apex Industries CEO strode into the underground lab like he already owned it, flanked by lawyers carrying tablets and security personnel trying not to look nervous around the pulsing quantum equipment. Dr. Hayes, Wright extended his hand, his smile all perfect teeth and calculated charm. Your work has attracted quite a bit of attention. Amanda crossed her arms, positioning herself between Wright and the prototype. Funny, since it's classified research that shouldn't have attracted any attention at all. Wright chuckled, running a finger along the edge of a workbench. Doctor, did you really think you could run that many quantum simulations without someone noticing? The power draw alone. He gestured to one of his lawyers, who produced a document. But that's why I'm here. Apex Industries would like to make you an offer. Not interested. Amanda's voice was flat. $10 billion, Wright said casually, as if ordering coffee, plus full research autonomy and a dedicated facility in Colorado. We've already broken ground. The lab fell silent except for the soft hum of the quantum core. Amanda felt her team's eyes on her. Their breaths held. You moved awfully fast for someone who just learned about our project. Wright's smile didn't waver. We've been watching you for months. The facility isn't just broken ground. It's finished. We have assembly lines ready to go, materials stockpiled, and distribution networks in place. All we need is you and that. He pointed to the prototype. If you know what this is, you know the Frictions will. The Frictions, Wright interrupted, are business people. They understand market forces. Once we demonstrate parallel development. Bullshit, Amanda snapped. You want to mass-produce quantum drives before they can stop us. Create a fait accompli. I want to ensure humanity controls its own destiny. Wright's smile faded, replaced by something harder. The Frictions have been feeding us scraps from their table, keeping us dependent. You've proven we don't need their charity. The question is, are you going to hide that truth in a lab, or help us change the world? Before Amanda could respond, Maria burst through the door, her tablet displaying a financial news feed. Dr. Hayes, Apex's stock, it's going crazy. Someone leaked. The feed showed Apex Industries stock soaring, with speculation about revolutionary transport technology flooding social media. Amateur astronomers were posting videos of strange lights over Colorado, claiming to show test flights of new vessels. Wright's facade cracked slightly. This wasn't part of his timeline. The offer expires in 5 minutes, Doctor, he said tersely. After that, we'll proceed with or without you. We have enough data to build inefficient copies that might explode. Amanda finished. She looked at her team, saw the same calculation in their eyes. Better to be inside the process, guiding it, than watching from the sidelines. I want 50 billion, full veto power over technical decisions, and my entire team comes with me. Done. Wright didn't even hesitate. And one more thing. Amanda stepped closer, her voice low. When the Frictions come, and they will come, you back us completely. No throwing us under the bus, no corporate denials. Dr. Hayes, Wright's smile returned. When the Frictions come, they'll be dealing with a humanity that doesn't need their technology anymore. We'll be equals. 3 days later, as Amanda watched automated assembly lines stamping out quantum drive components in the massive Colorado facility, she received another message. This one was from the Frixian ambassador to Earth, requesting an urgent meeting. On her screens, satellite imagery showed dozens of Frixian ships dropping out of quantum space at the edge of the solar system. They weren't the usual trade vessels. "Mr. Wright," she called across the facility floor. "I think it's time for that backing you promised." The corporate chaos was about to become a galactic incident. The speed trial wasn't supposed to be public. It was meant to be a quiet test run of Apex's first commercial quantum freighter, the Terra Dawn, along a standard lunar shipping route. But someone, Amanda suspected Wright's PR team, had made sure every telescope on Earth was pointing at the right spot. Terra Dawn, maintain current velocity, Amanda instructed from Colorado Mission Control. Vrixian vessel approaching at Mark 340. The massive holographic display showed both ships, the sleek, crystalline form of the Vrixian freighter alongside the more utilitarian human vessel. The Vrixian ship was their newest model, reportedly the fastest in their merchant fleet. "They're hailing us," Maria reported from the communication station. The Vrixian captain sounds angry. "Of course they're angry," Wright muttered beside Amanda. "We're about to embarrass them in front of the entire solar system." The Vrixian ship accelerated, its quantum wake signature flaring on their instruments. Amanda allowed herself a small smile. Terra Dawn, execute Program Haze Alpha. Their ship's response was immediate. The quantum drive spooled up in a way the Vrixians had never seen, never even imagined possible. Instead of fighting against space-time's natural quantum fluctuations, the human drive rode them like a surfer catching the perfect wave. "They're pushing their drive to maximum," Maria reported. 110% of rated capacity. "Let them burn themselves out," Amanda said calmly. Terra Dawn, maintain current acceleration curve. The numbers told the story. The human ship wasn't just keeping pace, it was pulling ahead, its more efficient drive design allowing it to achieve higher speeds with less energy expenditure, and everyone was watching. The Vrixian ship's quantum wake became erratic as its crew pushed their systems beyond safety limits. Warning indicators flashed across Amanda's screens. "They're going to breach containment if they keep this up," she warned. Terra Dawn, slow tow. A burst of quantum energy erupted from the Vrixian vessel as its drive emergency vented. The alien ship dropped out of quantum space, its crystalline hull darkened. Terra Dawn, render assistance, Amanda ordered, but the damage was already done. Humanity had just proven they could outperform Vrixian technology in front of the entire solar system. The emergency quantum comm crackled to life. The face that appeared on their screen wasn't the Vrixian ship's captain. It was High Commander Zextal himself, his crystalline features twisted with rage. Dr. Amanda Hayes, his translated voice held centuries of aristocratic disdain. "You will immediately cease this blasphemy." Blasphemy. Amanda kept her voice level. "This is just healthy competition, Commander. Surely the Vrixian Merchant Confederation believes in free market forces. You have stolen and corrupted sacred technology," Zextal snarled. "Technology passed down through 1,000 generations. Technology you barely understand." "Actually," Amanda interrupted, bringing up the quantum efficiency graphs, "we understand it better than you do. Your sacred drive designs are operating at barely 60% of theoretical capacity. We've achieved 92% in our latest tests." The commander's crystalline face cracked slightly, a sign of extreme emotional distress in Vrixians. "Impossible. You cannot. You are barely out of your gravity well. You still burn chemical rockets for planetary launch. Which makes this all the more embarrassing for you, doesn't it?" Wright stepped forward, his corporate instincts smelling blood in the water. "Perhaps it's time to discuss new trade agreements. More equitable ones." The crack in Zextal's face spread. "You primitives think you can bargain. You think this is about trade." His voice became deadly quiet. "You have violated the most sacred laws of the Confederation. The penalties are irrelevant," Amanda cut in. "We developed this technology independently. I can prove it with my grandfather's research from decades ago." "Proof?" Zextal laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "The Council of Elders has already been notified. The combat rights of technological sovereignty have been invoked. You have 3 planetary rotations to surrender all quantum technology and submit to Vrixian authority, or face the consequences. The transmission cut off. In the sudden silence, Wright turned to Amanda. Please tell me we have more than just cargo ships ready. Amanda's hand tightened on her tablet. Remember when you said they'd be dealing with an equal humanity? I hope you meant it, because we're about to find out. The Galactic Council's emergency session was being broadcast across every screen in Apex's Colorado facility. Amanda watched as alien species she'd never seen before argued about Earth's technological heresy. The massive chamber on Europa, hastily constructed after first contact, was packed with representatives from 37 spacefaring civilizations. The Vrixians have held their monopoly for too long. The Arthaxian delegates' tentacles waved in agitation, their crystalline translator struggling to keep up. If humans have truly achieved independent quantum development, the Vrixian elder's voice cut through the chamber. They reversed-engineered sacred technology. Their own data proves the similarities. Amanda's secure quantum comm chirped. The message made her blood run cold. Vrixian war fleet entering Kuiper Belt. Estimated 47 capital ships. Dr. Hayes. A gravelly voice made her turn. In the facility's shadows stood something that looked like a cross between a praying mantis and a suit of medieval armor. I am Director Kexhall of Arthaxian Military Intelligence. We need to talk. Wright's security team had their weapons drawn, but Amanda waved them down. Inside, she ordered, leading the alien to her private lab. As soon as the doors sealed, Kexhall activated a device that filled the room with soft static. Quantum privacy field, the Arthaxian explained. What I'm about to tell you violates several galactic treaties. The Vrixians didn't discover quantum drive technology. Amanda's eyes narrowed. They stole it. They found it. As did we. As did the Zendraxians and the Mittal Collective. The galaxy is littered with the ruins of what we call the precursors. Every spacefaring race eventually stumbles upon their quantum tech. Most can't comprehend it. Some, like the Vrixians, learn to copy it. But none. Kexhall's compound eyes fixed on Amanda. None have ever truly understood it. Until now. The implications hit her like a physical blow. That's why they're so afraid. We didn't just copy it. We improved it. Precisely. The Vrixians built their entire civilization around being the galaxy's quantum technology providers. You've proven they're nothing but glorified cargo cultists. Kexhall's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The Arthaxian Confederation is prepared to offer Earth an alliance. A new alert flashed across Amanda's screens. Vrixian fleet launching long-range quantum torpedoes. Multiple trajectories detected. They're not waiting for the Council's decision. Amanda realized. She hit the facility's general alarm. How many ships can your people commit? Enough to make the Vrixians reconsider. But we need something in return. Kexhall produced a crystalline data core. Our analysts have identified 37 potential improvements to quantum drive technology based on your innovations. We want full partnership rights. Another alarm. The Vrixian torpedoes had shifted course. They weren't aimed at Earth. Their targets were Apex's manufacturing facilities. Amanda's quantum comm erupted with Wright's voice. Hayes, our orbital defenses are tracking multiple incoming. Shut down all quantum drives. Amanda shouted into the facility-wide comm. They're not torpedoes. They're quantum resonance disruptors. They'll cascade through any active quantum field. She turned to Kexhall. You've got your deal. Get your fleet here now. The Arthaxian was already moving, its crystalline communicator pulsing with urgent signals. The Vrixians will declare this an act of war. Newsflash. Amanda pulled up the facility's defense grid controls. They already have. But they made one crucial mistake. Oh. Amanda's fingers flew across the controls, activating systems that hadn't been publicly revealed. Across Colorado, hidden launch silos opened. They assumed we'd only modified their drive technology. They never asked what else we've been working on. Above the facility, the sky lit up as humanity's first quantum-enhanced missile defense network came online. The Vrixian torpedoes never stood a chance. Director Kexall. Amanda's voice was steel. Please inform your fleet that Earth will be happy to demonstrate our other technological innovations. The Vrixians wanted a war over technology. She watched as the defense grid's quantum interceptors reduced the alien weapons to scattered atoms. Let's show them how humans do technological advancement. The galactic power balance was about to undergo a dramatic shift. You want to put quantum drives on bullets. General Sarah Chen stared at Amanda like she'd lost her mind. The Pentagon's war room was crowded with military brass, corporate leaders, and scientists from every major nation. The holographic display between them showed the approaching Vrixian fleet, now less than 12 hours from Earth orbit. Not bullets, Amanda corrected, flicking her hand through the hologram to zoom in on her designs. Miniaturized quantum torpedoes. The Vrixians think quantum technology can't be scaled down past a certain size. They're wrong. Wright leaned forward, his usual corporate smoothness replaced by intense focus. How wrong? Amanda gestured, and a new simulation appeared. We've managed to create quantum drives the size of a soda can. They're single-use, burn out after one jump. But she triggered the simulation. Thousands of tiny quantum signatures blinked into existence around a Vrixian warship, appearing from every possible angle simultaneously. My God, the general whispered. They wouldn't stand a chance. That's not all. Maria stepped forward, pulling up her own project files. We've been analyzing the quantum wake signatures of Vrixian ships. They're predictable. They follow the same quantum paths every time, like trains on a track. But our drives can modulate their signatures. In English, please, Wright interrupted. We can change how our ships interact with quantum space mid-flight, Amanda explained. The Vrixians can't track what they can't predict. And we've got 3 more innovations ready for deployment. The room erupted in overlapping conversations as military strategists began seeing the possibilities. Amanda watched the chaos with a mixture of pride and apprehension. 6 months ago, she'd been an academic studying theoretical physics. Now she was helping plan humanity's defense against an alien invasion. Dr. Hayes. A quiet voice cut through the noise. Dr. Chen Zhang, her former quantum mechanics professor, stood beside her terminal. Show them the Prometheus Protocol. The room fell silent. The Prometheus Protocol was theoretical, dangerous, something they'd developed but never dared test. Amanda took a deep breath. The Vrixians use quantum fields for everything. Weapons, shields, communications. They're all based on the same fundamental principles. We found a way to create a cascading quantum disruption effect. She pulled up the classified simulation. One hit from a Prometheus device would disable every quantum-based system on their ships. Engines, weapons, life support, everything. That's a death sentence, General Chen said quietly. They're coming to our home with enough firepower to glass the planet. Wright countered. We use every advantage we have. Amanda's quantum comm chimed, a message from their Arthaxian allies. The Vrixian fleet is accelerating. They'll reach Earth in 10 hours. How many ships can we have ready? The general demanded. 27 converted cargo vessels, 15 purpose-built warships, Wright replied. Plus whatever the Arthaxians bring. It'll have to be enough. Amanda stood, addressing the room. The Vrixians think they're facing primitive upstarts who got lucky with stolen technology. They're wrong. We didn't just copy their tech. We understood it, improved it, and developed completely new applications they never imagined. She brought up the global defense grid. Every satellite we've launched in the past month is equipped with quantum sensors and weaponry. Our ships can shift quantum frequencies at will. And if they want to make this a fight to the death. She highlighted the Prometheus devices. We're ready for that too. What are our chances? Someone asked. Amanda thought about her grandfather's old research, about humanity's long history of turning scientific understanding into technological advantages. They've had this technology for 1,000 years and treated it like a religious artifact. We've had it for 6 months and turned it into an art form. She smiled, but there was steel in it. I almost feel sorry for them. Alerts flashed across every screen. The Vrixian fleet had detected their defense grid and was accelerating again. They'd arrive in 8 hours. Time to show the galaxy how humanity fights, General Chen announced. Dr. Hayes, begin the deployment. Above them, humanity's quantum-enhanced fleet moved into position, ready to defend Earth with technology that their enemies never imagined could exist. The Kuiper Belt had never seen anything like it. 47 Vrixian warships, their crystalline hulls gleaming with ancient quantum technology, faced off against the combined human-Arthaxian fleet. Amanda watched from the heavily modified bridge of the Terra Dawn, now humanity's flagship, as the final battle coordinates were locked in. Vrixian fleet holding position at Mark 270, Maria reported from her station. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. High Commander Zextel's face appeared on their screens, more cracked than ever. This is your final warning, humans. Surrender your quantum technology and submit to Vrixian authority, or be destroyed. Interesting choice of words, Amanda replied, her fingers dancing across the quantum control interface. About that technology. She nodded to Maria, who initiated their first surprise. Across the human fleet, quantum drives spooled up in ways the Vrixians had never seen. Each ship's quantum signature began to shift and modulate, making them practically invisible to Vrixian targeting systems. What is this treachery? Zextal's voice cracked with confusion. This? Amanda smiled. This is just the warm-up. All ships, execute maneuver Hayes Delta. The human fleet split into 3 groups, their movements completely unpredictable to Vrixian tactical computers. Meanwhile, the Arthaxian vessels moved to flank the enemy fleet, their own modified drives incorporating human innovations. The Vrixian commander barked orders, and his fleet launched their first volley, a massive barrage of quantum torpedoes that should have spelled doom for the smaller human force. Now, Amanda commanded. Thousands of tiny points of light burst from the human ships, the miniaturized quantum torpedoes. They blinked in and out of quantum space, appearing at impossible angles, overwhelming the Vrixian defenses through sheer impossibility. Their shields, designed to defend against capital ship weapons, couldn't track the smaller projectiles. 3 Vrixian ships disabled. Maria called out. 5 more showing shield instability. But the Vrixians weren't finished. Their capital ships began generating massive quantum fields, preparing to unleash their main weapons. That's when Amanda revealed their second surprise. All ships, activate quantum wake disruptors. The devices they'd reversed engineered from studying Vrixian quantum wakes came online. Suddenly, the enemy fleet's carefully coordinated quantum fields began to interfere with each other. Their formation, perfect for traditional space combat, became a liability as their own quantum technologies turned against them. Impossible, Zextal roared. Our sacred technology cannot be turned against us. We are its chosen wielders. No, Amanda countered. You're just its first users. We're its first innovators. Terra Dawn, execute Prometheus protocol. The human flagship's quantum drive hummed in a new frequency. The Prometheus device, their most desperate innovation, launched toward the heart of the Vrixian fleet. Amanda held her breath as it crossed the space between them. The device detonated in a cascade of quantum disruption. Vrixian ships began going dark, their quantum systems failing as the cascade spread through their formation. Shields failed, weapons went offline, and engines sputtered into darkness. Multiple Vrixian ships requesting emergency surrender, Maria reported, her voice tight with disbelief. Their life support systems are failing. Amanda quickly ordered rescue operations. They'd proven their point, no need for unnecessary deaths, As human and Arthaxian ships moved to assist the stranded Vrixians, she received an urgent quantum transmission from an unexpected source. The Vrixian Council of Elders appeared on her screen, their ancient crystalline faces showing something she'd never seen before: respect. Dr. Hayes, the chief elder, spoke. "We have witnessed something unprecedented today. You have not merely used our sacred technology. You have evolved it." Amanda looked at the battlefield, where human ingenuity had just rewritten 1,000 years of galactic military doctrine. "That's what humans do," she replied. "We don't just use technology. We understand it, improve it, push its limits." "Perhaps," the elder said slowly, "it is time for the Vrixian Confederation to learn this approach. Would humanity be willing to teach us?" Amanda smiled. The battle was over, but the real revolution was just beginning. The Galactic Council chamber looked different now. Where crystalline architecture had once dominated, new hybrid designs incorporating both Vrixian and human engineering principles created a space that spoke of collaboration rather than hierarchy. Amanda stood at the podium, addressing representatives from over 50 spacefaring civilizations. "For too long, we treated quantum technology like a sacred artifact," she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. "We forgot the most fundamental truth of scientific advancement. Understanding is more valuable than possession." Behind her, a holographic display showed the ruins they'd discovered in the Ta-CD system, the true origin of quantum drive technology. The precursor installation had been found exactly where her grandfather's original equations predicted it would be. "The Vrixians didn't steal this technology, and neither did humans," she continued. "We all inherited it. But inheritance without innovation is stagnation." In the front row, Thomas Wright sat beside the Vrixian High Elder, both of them watching as Amanda revealed their joint proposal. The hologram shifted to show a new institution, the Galactic Institute of Quantum Innovation. "We propose a new approach," Amanda explained. "Open collaboration, shared research, combined understanding." The Vrixians' 1,000 years of practical experience merged with humanity's theoretical insights and drive to innovate. She gestured, and the hologram expanded to show the first project, a completely new form of quantum drive designed jointly by human, Vrixian, and Arthaxian scientists. "Initial tests show 400% improvement over previous efficiency ratings," she announced. "And this is just the beginning." The chamber erupted in excited discussion. Species that had been dependent on Vrixian technology for centuries suddenly saw a new path forward. Amanda noticed Maria signaling from the side of the stage, another breakthrough in the labs. But perhaps the most important discovery wasn't technological at all. Amanda continued once the chamber quieted. "In studying the precursor ruins, we found something remarkable. They didn't leave us their technology as a finished product. They'd left it as a test." This revelation brought complete silence to the chamber. Amanda pulled up the decoded precursor message they'd found buried in the quantum signature patterns themselves. "To those who understand, not merely use," she read, "you have proven yourselves ready for the next step." The hologram shifted one final time, showing a star map with dozens of highlighted locations. "We've detected quantum signatures matching the Ta-CD installation across the galaxy. Each one contains different aspects of precursor technology, waiting for those who can truly comprehend them. And you propose we seek these out together?" the Arthaxian director asked. "Better," Amanda smiled. "We've already assembled the first joint expedition teams. Human theoretical knowledge, Vrixian practical experience, Arthaxian engineering, and that's just the beginning. Every species brings their own unique perspective, their own way of understanding." She looked across the chamber, meeting the eyes and optical sensors of dozens of different species. "We spent so long fighting over who owned this technology. We forgot to ask why it was left for us in the first place. The precursors didn't want inheritors. They wanted innovators." The voting was unanimous. Within hours, the first joint expedition ships were preparing for launch, their crews representing a dozen different species. Amanda watched from the council station as the fleet departed, their new hybrid quantum drives leaving signatures that would have been impossible just months ago. Her quantum comm chimed, a message from her grandfather's old lab at MIT. They'd found something new in his original equations, something that suggested quantum technology was just the beginning of what the precursors had left behind. Dr. Hayes, Wright, appeared at her side, looking uncharacteristically humble, ready to make history again. Amanda thought about that first night in her lab, when a spilled cup of coffee led to a discovery that changed the galaxy. She thought about all the mysteries still waiting to be solved, all the innovations yet to be made. History. She pulled up the new equations, already seeing patterns that would have been impossible to recognize before. No, we're just getting started. Above them, the joint fleet winked into quantum space, carrying the combined knowledge and aspirations of a dozen civilizations. The age of innovation had begun.